Alright, this is game 2 of the Monster Training League this week, and we're trying to get as many units alive possible at the end of the run with permadeath enabled. And I believe this is Never Nathaniel's Seed. It's a Woken Stygian, and to start off the bat we have a choice of deal damage when using consume cards, and we have no consume cards, and we have 50% of chance of applying dazed, and I notice I have a sharpen, and I might want them to not be dazed, so I decided to not pick up any of that, saving money and getting the Rejuve Sentient under the idea that I'm gonna need to be casting heals when I draw them. My hands will be clogged, pretty clogged with all those units basically. So this first fight is pretty straightforward. I don't have a ton of extra cards in my deck yet. That is going to make it more challenging later in the fight. I'm pretty confident that I can beat the boss, so I play a Train Steward. Otherwise there would be a chance of it dying. And as it turns out, it was actually pretty close. So I really need to cost reduce some cards, remove some of those frozen lances. And really, at this Covenant level, normally you can just literally win with restores, but I'm going to have way too many units in my hand to rely on the restores, so I need to pick up some more powerful spells here. So I think Awake is going to be the regen I need to make up for that. And pick up a unit. See a unit, pick up a unit at this point. An armor will help deal with some of the fact that I'm going to have lower regen, I think. So we'll play it behind my champion. And I've already picked up a DPS unit, so here I really don't want to be incanting on multiple floors. So the Guard of the Unnamed wasn't really ideal. I think the Icy Solid Fight could sit behind somebody with more HP and maybe just do a little extra to flying bosses. And now I have my DPS unit fully upgraded. And it's a unit draft, I have to take it. And I think I'm going to speed up the footage a little bit here. There's not as many decisions that I need to go over. So, yeah, just setting up on the top floor with my extra units so that the boss doesn't kill them. And I want to play them because I don't have enough heals in my deck to not play my units. Wildwood Sap's great. And Titan Sentry is actually a great unit for Endless if I ever get it, and also just I could give it a bunch of HP and have it tank. Obviously I don't want it to set up below where I'm set up with the champion, but it'll be good above it probably. I'm gonna dupe it. It's probably going to be a dead weight, the second one, but maybe I could set it on 2 floors. And it's getting kind of dicey here. Not enough restores. I'm a little too scared to play the Train Stewards in the middle with the bombs. And my champ's dying, but nobody else, which is perfect. Cycle of Life could be good if I cost reduce it. I don't think any of these are good. The Sweeper maybe has a bunch of health, so it could tank until a better tank shows up. And there I just pick a unit because I could. It's a dead weight. And I get holdover, which is very good in this situation. And I was tempted to put on Awake. I put it on a 0 cost restore. And the reason is I want to get as many incants as possible. I have 2 incant units, and I want to get that regen. So I'm probably going to dupe it. Well, this is a review. I did dupe it later. So that was the idea there. This fight's a little scary. I'm worried that the ones that get through are going to kill my sharks, but I do have some heals. And it's actually didn't do that much damage to the pyre. I was worried about that. But the boss is really kind of a pushover. I think it just had some good draws. Engraft's great too. Normally it's okay. I mean, you can cost reduce it, give you some ember, but in this kind of deck, having extra card draw with all these dead weights, it's amazing. And of course, it gives a rejuve trigger, which is what I'm looking for. Yeah, just getting health on that. I put 2 health on one of my Titan Sentries so that I could play it. The other, I figure most of the time I'm not going to play both of them. Stealth boss is very scary. I wasn't gonna set up on the bottom floor. I just not confident in getting enough regen going for that. Yeah, this is another fight where if I was just playing normally, I'd probably just cut all the train stewards and just do restores with this setup, honestly. But of course, that doesn't work for the League. And Pyrogrow and Wildwood Custodian are both things I wanted. I'm having a little problems with Ember, but the Wildwood Custodian, I mean, I do want card draw, and it's a unit, so it can probably fit in behind the Titan Sentry. I give some health to my armor since I'm going to be playing that unit most of the time, and there are sweepers, and maybe I don't have enough armor on the turn I play it. And I really didn't want to play the Husk Hermit on the bottom there, but I had no idea when I was going to draw my better sweeper, so I didn't want to have to deal with all the blights in the meantime. Which unfortunately means I can't put my Guardian Stone down where I want to, at least. But the blights are... I'm surprisingly able to keep up with the blights, which is good. But barely able to kill the boss without losing units. It was down to 1 restore that did it. And I want Ember and draw, but I think just I don't know how many units at this point. I need to get past them. Now that's interesting. So I have the Cuddle Hex, which freezes cards, and frozen cards now cost 0, which sounds like it'd be really good. And for the most part it is, but there is a problem which I will encounter in the next couple fights. And the problem being that if I have a unit frozen, the only way to get rid of it is to play it, and then if I have 6 units frozen, then I can't draw the cards I want to play. So I do have to play a little bit more of the units than I was hoping. Yeah, and setting up on the bottom here is part of the reason for that, and So I have 2 full floors where I can play units. Otherwise, if I sit up on a higher floor, then I would have more time to build up regen, etc. Was fine in this fight. So another draw card. And it's nice that it only takes up 1 space. I did grab capacity earlier to play more of my units. Yeah, and Ember's a little bit of a problem, considering the frozen effect is nice, but the units are taking up those hand slots, so I can't rely on it too much. So because this is Seraph, I forget the name, but the one that removes buffs, I can't set up on the bottom floor. I just simply won't have enough regen. Ideally I'd set up on the top floor, but because I have so many units, I need an extra floor to play them, and I don't want to play it on the bottom floor because then I'll lose them all. So this is a very close fight. I have to play it very carefully. And I actually cannot get enough regen going for this floor to live. So I do lose 2 units. But I'm able to save most of the top row. So in the end I lost, I think it was 3 units in the final fight, but I took a ton of units. So way more than I did in the first game. So hopefully that makes up for losing 3 units in the final fight. In the end I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14 units total. I could have had more, but I don't know if I would have made it through the final fight if I had drafted more units. So I think overall it's a pretty good run. And Never Nathaniel, the only other person to complete it so far, has a lot less. So this is one of the better runs for me. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this will be one of my better runs. If you liked the video, please consider liking or subscribing, and I'll link my competitors in the description. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.